there are two tragedies in life, right? One is not getting what you want. And of course, what's the other tragedy? Getting what you want. Because we can't know what we want. It doesn't matter what you want. You do the right thing. So, and then he's thinking, okay, so doing the right thing is the kind of thing that will lead to me being happy. No, you're missing the point. You don't do what makes you happy. Think about the kinds of things that make you happy. What makes most of us happy is exactly what leads us headlong into harm. If you pursue just what makes you happy, you're gonna be miserable. Because think about what makes you happy today. Is it the same thing that makes you happy, that made you happy 5 years ago? Is it the same thing that's going to make you happy 5 years from now? You don't know. You have no idea. But one thing that you can know is that if you do the right things, the right thing today would have been the right thing 5 years ago, and the right thing 5 years ago would be the right thing 5 years from now. So you're always doing what you should be doing. And then a weird thing's going to happen if you take all of those characteristics with you, honesty, virtue, work ethic, and you apply it to some field, you're going to get way better results than you would ever imagine or dream. Can you actually achieve your dreams? Don't try. But can you? Yeah. If you put yourself, if you really immerse yourself and you put yourself into it, you can't help but do it. There's no such thing as free time, as downtime, as rest time, as leisure time. There's no such thing as work time, there's only lifetime. And it's a circle like this, it's a pie. You gotta figure out how you're going to divide that up. For myself, anyway, how best to spend my time just inevitably becomes the question, which strikes me as something that's just unspeakably sad in a life that's as short as ours. Because even if you live a long time, it's too short, once you figure out what it is that you want to do. But then we end up spending so much time complaining that all of a sudden, that time is gone. By the way, that's true about a lot of things in life. That can be true about a job. Oh my God, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job. And then you get fired. Dude, I need a job. It could be true about a significant other as well. I was at the gym with a friend of mine a month ago, about 2 months ago or so. And there was a girl there who my friend knew, so they were talking. And the girl who my friend was talking to she was married and had a kid, and she's like, oh yeah, to get away from my husband, to get away from my kid. And I was thinking like, yeah, but you don't really mean that. I hope, you know? And then what happens, she's complaining about her husband, but then one day if he decides not to come home but to go someplace else, I bet she'll be complaining about that too. Be careful about the things we complain about, because we just might get, there are two tragedies in life, right? One is not getting what you want. And of course, what's the other tragedy? Getting what you want. Those are the two tragedies in life. Not getting what you want and getting what you want. Because we can't know what we want. I was just talking to a former student a few months ago, and we were talking about like the kinds of jobs that you choose to do. And I was describing myself as a teacher. Why do I teach? There's a reason I teach. I'm a teacher. I'm not a teacher by the job I've chosen. The job I do is because I don't know what else to do. A good example, like I talk about teaching jiu-jitsu. I have no interest whatsoever in teaching it. I've owned a couple of gyms in the past. I started a gym, I sell it, and I went to the place where I am right now specifically because I did not want to teach. Fast forward 1 year, I was teaching. Why? It wasn't me volunteering. Stuff just kind of went in that direction. And I have to accept at some point, it's just kind of what I do, I suppose. I don't want to, I don't mean to. If I wasn't doing this, if I was a chef somewhere, if I was a baker, I guarantee you, within a couple of years, I'd be teaching people how to bake. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't be volunteering for it. It's just something that would happen. So the things that you are, you really can't get away from them. And so maybe like when you're thinking about like a job that you're going to do, that'd be great if you can pick a job that is what you are. Now, what are you? I don't know. You'll find out in the third quarter. We'll look at it. We'll talk about these things called the archetypes. It really does get to the heart of who you are. And then once you know who you are, you know the kinds of things in life that you should be pursuing. And so anyway, so I was talking with the student and I was pointing out to him that, I teach just because it's what I do. I can't do anything else. And that's maybe the way that you should maybe pick a career is that, for me, for example, I don't think of this as I come to work. In fact, I don't even call this work. I call this school. I tell people, I have school, tomorrow. I got school at 3:38. I don't really even think of this as a job because I really, really enjoy doing this. I love doing this thing. Not so much on the grading, but everything else that's around it, I love doing it. I hope that comes through. But this person I was talking to, he's asking me, well, so I need to figure out what I want. I go, no. It's completely missing the point. It doesn't matter what you want. You do the right thing. So, and then he's thinking, okay, so doing the right thing is the kind of thing that will lead to me being happy. No, you're missing the point. You don't do what makes you happy. Think about the kinds of things that make you happy. What makes most of us happy is exactly what leads us headlong into harm. Instead, focus on doing the right thing. And what he was missing was this idea that you do virtuous things. You do the proper thing. What do? Well, you be honest. You be forthright. You be helpful. Tell the truth. Stand up for things. Do all of those. And then after that, you take that personality into a job. And hopefully the job is going to be something that you do enjoy, but you're not doing it because you enjoy it. You're doing it because it's what you are. I don't know if any of you guys are musicians. But if you're a musician, why do you do music? Is it just because you love it, or is it because it's something that you have to do? I'm a musician. I was a musician before I was a teacher. And why did I do it? I enjoyed it. I did kind of enjoy it. But when people have asked me before, about regrets in life, that's one regret I have. I didn't enjoy music nearly as much as I should have. For what my bands were doing, we were on tour, we were making some records. I should have enjoyed it more than I did. But instead, I was just morose and melancholy and all those things that you are, I guess, when you're creative. And so people ask me, why do you do it at all? I have to. It's in me. If there's something that's in you, then you should do it. And so if you're actually trying to figure out what kind of a job you should do, if you came to me for advice for some reason, my advice to you would be, don't even try. If there's a job you want to do, you want to make films, and you said, I want to be a filmmaker. I would tell you, no, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Because how many directors are there that are actually making a living in Hollywood? And even if you can get someone even if you have a great idea, can you really get these studios to put money behind you? Oh, but I can do it myself. Yeah, and how many people have actually made it that way? You can name them. Name a few, but that's the point. You can name them because there's so few. So here's my advice to you. Don't try. Go become an accountant. It's practical. Always need accountants. Stable, steady, because you're probably not going to make it in film. Very rarely. And if your answer to me is, I believe you. Every word you just said, I believe. But I have to. It's in me. It's what I am. I have to be what I am. And so therefore, even though I'm probably going to fail, even though I'm probably going to end up frustrated and annoyed with it, even despite all of that, I'm going to do it. Not because I disagree with you and think I can become successful, but because it's what I am, it's what I have to do. That's what you should be doing. Don't try. If you have a dream, come to me. Let me know. I'll try to discourage you from your dream and tell you don't even try. Because if I can discourage you, you shouldn't be doing it. If just one asshole in cowboy boots who doesn't even ride horses can convince you not to pursue a dream, then you shouldn't be pursuing it, because there's going to be a lot of obstacles along the way that are going to dissuade you and discourage you. But if it's something that's in you, it won't matter if you're successful or not. People ask me, oh, you used to be a musician? I still am. Still write, still play, still do. Once in a while, I'll go perform somewhere. Am I trying to make $1 million at it anymore? No. No, so why do I do it? Because it's what I do. It's what I have to do. I don't, if you pursue just what makes you happy, you're gonna be miserable. Because think about what makes you happy today. Is it the same thing that makes you happy, that made you happy 5 years ago? Is it the same thing that's going to make you happy 5 years from now? You don't know. You have no idea. But one thing that you can know is that if you do the right things, the right thing today would have been the right thing 5 years ago, and the right thing 5 years ago would be the right thing 5 years from now. So you're always doing what you should be doing in terms of your proper behavior. And then a weird thing's going to happen if you take all of those characteristics with you, honesty, virtue, work ethic, and you apply it to some field, you're going to get way better results than you would ever imagine or dream. Because you're capable of doing way more than what you are doing. But it starts with the proper attitude and motivations and behavior. All of that has to be in place. Can you actually achieve your dreams? Don't try. But can you? Yeah. Yeah, if you put yourself, if you really immerse yourself and you put yourself into it, you can't help but do it. The problem is so often we're misaligned, man. Any of you guys imagine me working in a cubicle somewhere? I did for like a little while, like a year and a half or so. Before I did this, one of my other life iterations, I was a financial planner. People would bring me millions of dollars, and then I would invest it for them. If you ever need to know about investments, you can come talk to me. I can help you with that. Anyway, it was a lot of money. I hated it. I hated it, man. It was so many hours. We were talking about that lifetime thing. First off, I'd take that word time out of it. There's no such thing as free time, as downtime, as rest time, as leisure time. There's no such thing as work time. There's only lifetime. And it's a circle like this. It's a pie. You got to figure out how you're going to divide that up. If you're hell bent on spending 8 hours of it, I guess, sleeping. Well, that's what your life looks like. Now, what can you do? What are you going to be able to do with this other 2/3? Imagine if instead of 8 hours, let's say you could get it down to 4 hours. It'd be less than that, it'd be 20%. Imagine what you could do with all that extra time. Oh, but I'd be tired. Yep, maybe. But that is the trade-off. Now, by the way, I'm not telling you should or shouldn't sleep more or less. I'm just saying if you think of your days that way, then now you can start to figure out what could you do with an extra 2 hours a day. If you were putting it into something that you love, something that you are, what could you achieve? What could you accomplish? And I'm asking you an impossible question because we can't know, because we haven't ever put ourselves in the position of pursuing it yet. That's why it's so important to pursue something that you are. I sit over there at my computer and I hate uploading these videos. It takes for damn ever. How much time does it take me? 20 minutes, 25 minutes per video? That's it. Chop off the beginning, chop off the end, put in stupid music, and that's it. For me, 25 minutes, 30 minutes a day is just like, I can't do it. And so what ends up happening is sometimes I'll pile up, I'll have like 6, and I'll just go, that's gonna be like 4 hours. Screw that. How much time do you spend a day on film stuff?
Like, it's not even a day. It's like weekly projects.
Weekly projects. I bet you probably produce a lot more than me. Because that's what you do when you pour yourself into it. You'll be amazed at what you can produce. You'll be amazed if you put yourself into it. But what are you doing otherwise? And then, by the way, that's a rhetorical question, but it's also a real question. What are you doing otherwise? What does your pie chart look like? The pie chart of your life look like? I don't know. And the thing about it is that too often we look at that as being a terrible thing. If what I'm saying to you is coming off as judgment, it's not. I have no idea what you should be doing with your life. I don't know what your passion is. I don't know what's driving you. And if you don't have one, the only advice I would ever give you is the passion of your life is probably not going to be found in bed. Because if it was to be found there, you probably would have found it by now. Because you probably spend a lot of time there. I mean, more time in bed than anywhere else. All of us do, except for maybe you spend more time here at school now. And so if the purpose and the meaning of your life was to be found there, you would have found it by now. So it's a good bet it's probably out here somewhere. And unless you put yourself out there in the world, you're not going to find it. You know, it's too often that we don't talk about these things. And the result is that we end up with these shallow conversations, these shallow, thank you very much, shallow, meaningless conversations. You guys like small talk? I mean, there's a reason I give you guys quotes like this. I could very well just give you things like, always try your best and never give up. There's all kinds of, I could just go to my computer and type in motivational quotes and just fill it with that stuff. But my God, how much would we hate that? Because we recognize it'd be shallow. It's like, you should enjoy life. We all nod our heads. Now the real question, how? How? Because you've only got so much of this pie chart. For myself, anyway, how best to spend my time just inevitably becomes the question, which strikes me as something that's just unspeakably sad in a life that's as short as ours. Because even if you live a long time, it's too short, once you figure out what it is that you want to do. So maybe find out earlier, hopefully, but in the meantime, at least live the right way, so that when you get to where you're going, you have a strong base, strong foundation of what to do and how to be. Then, of course, you'll make an excellent role model for your children if you have them someday. If not, for other people's children, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, cousins, things like that. And then, hopefully, at least then you'll find yourself in the place where you should be. And then, who knows what can happen from there. But it's probably more than you can imagine. So, anyway, questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques. I have not made any damn sense all day. Didn't stop me from trying though.